We haven't done a solo show in a time.
No, it's been a while.
41 views.
Yeah. I did it and then, oh, we're streaming.
All right. Cool.
Do you
Hold on. Okay. Yep. We're good. Okay. Episode this one.
30.
Solo show.
Oh.
Welcome back. Okay. We've been live for a minute. All right.
Welcome to episode 30 of Gameday716. We appreciate you coming and we appreciate you staying. We have a lot to get to in regards to everything that's happening in the area, the NBA, the NFL, the NHL. We're not talking about the WHL.
No.
No,
No baseball either.
no baseball, either. The baseball trade deadline came and went with a lot of big trades,
Yeah.
yet no habla baseball. Coke Zero, your friend. Like to give a shout out to 26 Shirts for my t-shirt. I have counted and I now own 27 of
26 shirts.
of the 27 of the 26 shirts. With another one on the way, and another one on the way, and another one on the way. So we appreciate you joining. We have a lot to talk about. And so Noah, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Had to work, but you know,
I had to work too.
it is what it is.
And it definitely is what it is. That's how work goes. Welcome to the professional world.
Right.
The rest of the world still spends.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of how things go.
Yeah.
Did you know that we're spinning at a slower rate, which is why they think we can still breathe? Earth keeps spinning at a slower rate. And for some reason, they're saying that's why we can still breathe. Instead of, if it was spinning at the normal rate,
Yeah.
we would be out of oxygen because of all the damage we have done.
What?
Yeah, no, seriously.
So like we're all gonna die?
Not if the Earth continues
Soon?
to slow, because it continues to slow.
Okay, but it's not gonna slow all the way down because if it slows
Not
all
in
the way,
our lifetime.
okay. Because I'm like,
I mean, I can't imagine it slowing to a complete halt because that would be really strange. And
well, because like I remember like hearing Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about like if the world were to like stop spinning, like we would all just be thrown off of it into space.
who said that?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, because
Well, he
the
must be
world
right.
the world is spinning so fast, but like we don't know.
Right.
But like if the world were to like stop or like completely stop spinning, we would get thrown off because like it's our bodies, an object at rest tend to stay in rest, an object in motion tend to stay in motion. So
Not tend to, right? I don't think that's the actual scientific.
whatever it is.
Bodies in motion stay in motion, bodies at rest stay in rest.
Right. So our body will need to still be in the same position, and the same position will be flung into space because that's the way the momentum will be. And like it's like if you got hit by like a car or like stopped really fast, like how you jerk forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like instead of that, you're getting thrown off the earth into space and dying.
Well, that's not going to happen within our lifetime. I can't imagine that happening anytime soon. We got a bunch of follows this week and are extremely happy about that. So if you're our new follower or you're watching our show, welcome aboard. Again, we're extremely happy to have you. We continue to build our fan base, so slowly but surely we're gonna top Buffalo Fanatics. So what else is going on?
I mean, you said there was the MLB trade deadline, which did have a lot of big names get moved.
Cubs.
Surprisingly, Cubs just got rid of everybody. The big three guys there.
Yeah. Rizzo is already making a big
Yeah, I mean the
big
first night.
addition, but he just had another clutch home run.
Yay, Yankees.
Yay, Yankees. Just so everybody knows, we are not Yankees fans. If you didn't know that by the 30th episode, we know you're loyal watchers. So are you watching any of the Olympics?
Not really. And I think you and I have had this conversation where it's like every single time we want to, there's nothing good on, and then all of the good stuff is on at like 3 a.m. when like we should be sleeping because we have to work. So like not really, but I've been seeing like highlights, and like when I wake up in the morning, like the Simone Biles getting the bronze, and
that was pretty cool.
The swimming.
We watched Simone Biles last night. We watched Simone Biles, and we watched the 400 meters, the women's 400 meters.
Yeah.
Hurdles. I think it was the hurdles.
Was that the one that was like in the pouring rain?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was the two Americans who keep besting each other. The female 400.
Okay.
The two Americans who keep besting each other, like, and they've broken the world record like 4 times already, like broken each other's record 4 times already, like in the past year or something like that. And they set the world record again, the one who won. And then, but Americans placed 1-2, USA.
Oh, Mike said boo Boston. So
Boston can
just him though, or well, just me, not
just
him.
Him.
Not I said just him.
Oh, your friend Mike?
My friend Mike. Yeah, he's watching.
Hi, Mike.
But I read something somewhere that said like this Olympics has like the most world records and most Olympic records being set like in like the past like 30 years or something. Because like all these swimmers keep breaking the records, and then all these runners keep also breaking the record.
Yeah, it could be. There's been a lot of new like technology and stuff since.
That's true.
Since the last Olympics, because it's been 5 years instead of 4, right? And also another year to train as well and focus.
Yeah.
So maybe that
and there's also
something
nobody
to do with
in
it?
the stadium.
Yeah, but like Simone Biles says that's harder for her.
Well, I bet though that's like a preference thing. Like I don't know if like Simone, but like I don't think that translates to every single athlete, because I bet there are some athletes in the Olympics that are like,
definitely, like silent,
no spectators.
Yeah,
thank you.
Like the Chinese. If you would have seen the Chinese last night on the parallel, or on not the parallel, on the balance beam, right? Balance bar beam.
Uneven bars.
No, just the one beam.
Yeah,
the one
beam.
that the one that Biles got the bronze on. If you would have watched that, you'd have seen like there were these 2 Chinese girls. One was like 16 and one was a little bit older, so I feel comfortable saying girls, and they looked like they were like locked in this zone, and then if there was noise, it might have affected them more.
Yeah.
So
well, can we also though talk about the 13-year-old girl skater and how awesome that is?
The
who won the gold?
From
Brazil.
Skateboarding.
Yeah. The 13-year-old that won gold for Brazil in skateboarding.
When she was identified by Tony Hawk when she was 6.
Yeah. So cool. Like just it's one of those awesome cool things. But like there was a runner yesterday who like, tore out her leg or something, and she called off the trainers and the medical staff and refused to not finish and hobbled to the end to make sure she finished. And like you have to feel for people like that, like
yes, and
where
no.
that happens.
I mean,
well, because it's like a lifelong dream, and then for it to like within the first second of the race, you blow out your knee, you have no chance at a medal,
So is
and
that
everything you worked
unfortunate, or
for
are
is
they
done.
injury prone?
Well, I don't know her injury history, so
Did you? No, you didn't, because did you? There was another runner who ran the 800-meter female side with the longest strides I've ever seen. She's 19, and American, of course. And well, she came here from
we
Somalia.
only
She
talk
came here
about
from Somalia.
Americans on this show.
She came here from Somalia, but she's American. And her name was the Thing Mu, or Thing Mu. And she just dominated the 800-meter. It was crazy. Like how long her strides were. She, like, usually in like the 800 and the 1500 and even the 400, like they pace themselves.
Yeah,
Like, and usually the person who like takes the lead isn't
the one who wins.
isn't the one
Yeah.
who wins, who takes the lead in the beginning,
Yeah.
because
Unless
they're
they're
like
like Usain Bolt.
they set well, Bolt runs short distances though, but
Yeah.
they set they set the speed,
Right.
and then by the time they set the speed, they go, oh no, I set the speed too fast, my legs are tired.
Mhm.
And so all the people in the back then sort of make their move and give the kick. But when the other runners kicked, she kicked too, and it was just insane to watch, and it was really, really cool. And then there's another sprinter, Lauren Barnes, I think her name is, and they keep telling us she just graduated from Harvard. She got a
Patrick all
bronze.
over
She
again.
got a bronze last night, and they keep telling us that she graduated from Harvard. So she may be
Yeah, but with what degree?
not
though?
Lauren Barnes. Lauren Barnes is a volleyball player. I'm not gonna remember her name, but
With what degree though?
the Harvard one. I'll have to look it up.
Harvard Sprinter Olympics.
Yeah. Gabby Thomas. Lauren Barnes, I apologize.
Epidemiologist.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I won't make fun of you then.
Yes,
if it was like
maybe she'll fix
Liberal
maybe
arts
she'll fix
or
COVID.
something. Like, okay. True.
Maybe she'll fix it. So it gives us antibodies. Positive.
The vaccine.
Well, no. I mean, the vaccine does, right? But
but like when
maybe
you get
she'll
it,
just fix it so that when you get it, well, I guess that's kind of how it works now. When you get it, you get antibodies. But
well, yeah, that's Grandma said Moo was absolutely amazing. She looked as if she was barely touching the ground.
she did. Her stride was impeccable. It was awesome to see. The American
Jack
swimmers.
Eichel-esque.
The American swimmers were doing really well.
Yeah.
So yay, swimmers. They were fun to watch. I thought, swimming is sort of in the family blood, before you. So yeah, swimming was fun to watch. I enjoyed the track and field. There's still more.
Mhm.
There's more tonight.
Isn't there still like a good couple days left too?
Yeah.
So,
Women's beach volleyball, I am okay with. I think they show it too much, but my guess is it brings high ratings for certain reasons.
especially the beach.
Yeah, it's for the beach.
Yeah, I mean, they're all
because
set to-
people love watching the sand.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge fan of the uniforms and stuff like that. But I was reading like that there's a mandate. I mean, there's mandates for all different kind of uniforms,
Yeah.
but like that the mandate for the beach volleyball uniforms actually makes sense for some reason. Since I don't have the reason, it sounds really stupid for me to talk right now, but I don't remember what it is. But the basic gist is that they don't just wear them to have the least amount of clothes on as possible. No, they wear them because there's an athletic advantage to it for whatever the deal is. And I don't think it's skin cancer. So
makes them more aerodynamic.
it's probably something like that. But
I mean, so we got a good couple of days left of the Olympics, and
Yep.
you
Well, let's move on.
it's been cool.
Let's move on to NBA. NBA free agency kicked off. Well,
NBA.
the draft happened last Thursday.
Yeah,
There weren't a lot of huge names in the draft. There was no
There-
Zion.
there also wasn't
kind
a
of.
lot of changes from the way they thought the draft order was going to go.
Yeah, a lot of people expected more trades, and that kind of stuff. But teams just drafted guys. I think again, it's tough in the year where you can't get the full
Accurate scouting,
amount of scouting
Yeah.
that you would want. But
and you also had guys who didn't play, like guys who took the year off, or guys that didn't get the opportunity to have film for that year.
right.
So like you're working on a film from 2 years ago. You're also
But
banking on the
I
fact
think-
that this guy trained all year too.
I think there are still some stars in there. And,
Oh, yeah.
and that kind of thing that we'll get. Who's the kid from Gonzaga? Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
He got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cade Cunningham is gonna do really well in the NBA.
The guy the Rockets took is good. Do you remember where Suggs went?
I thought he went like later, like mid.
No, he went fourth. I was just wondering if you remember who drafted him.
Jalen Suggs was drafted by the Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic.
I also drafted Franz Wagner.
They did.
I wish him the best. Never mind.
You wish him the best.
He came
Coming
from
from a
Michigan.
Michigan State fan.
I was like, I'm not gonna be mean.
And Mo
Whatever.
Wagner is a free agent. So do you think he'll join them in Orlando?
I'm maybe if Orlando offers him a contract, but
Or is Mo the young one?
I think they're all in the NBA. Oh, he's in Germany. Oh, that's right. Oh no, he's playing for Germany in the Olympics. So
in
we
the
won't
Olympics. Yeah, no. He
Oh,
was on the Pacers.
Wagner brothers will play together in Orlando.
Oh, good.
Well, there you go.
I'm super happy about that.
That was 7 hours ago. So, and it's from GBM Wolverine. So
Breaking
I'll
news.
take that. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this is a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
8 hours ago. Yeah, he agreed to a deal with the Magic. 2-year deal. Good for him.
Yeah. So that's the huge NBA free agency news is Mo Wagner. And no, but in free agency, a lot of things happened. Chris Paul stayed with the Suns.
Surprising.
30 seconds. What are your thoughts?
I just didn't expect him to stay, but I also didn't expect Phoenix to want him to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not like that, like they don't like each other, but more that it was like, all right, you got them, you were able to help Booker and Ayton get to the NBA finals, go through their process, go through what it's like. Okay, we don't need you anymore.
But that's totally not what they did.
But that's not what they did at all. I mean, they offered him a 4-year, $120 million deal?
Yeah, he's making
25?
40 million.
So like
40.6 or something. I think it was 123 or something. But
I think there's a possibility here that this was a Booker request.
Oh, it's very possible.
Where he was like maybe they don't need him for the leadership anymore, but like Booker was like, I like the fire he brings, he'll be good for the new guys. Like maybe like Booker, here's the thing I think about Booker, and like is that like I don't think that as of right now in his career he is thinking in any way that I am going to do like coaching or anything like that. Like maybe he'll like help guys, but like he's not gonna be like the mentor yet. Like
he's
I
like,
don't
I'm
think
gonna be
he's
the
there.
star.
Yeah, like I don't think he's there.
Well, is he ever? Like
No, I'm not saying he ever was. I'm just saying like I don't think he's at that point yet.
He's what, 23 or
6.
something?
I thought he was like 26.
We're really good at this, folks. We're really good at Google.
He is. No,
I think he's 24.
He's 24.
Because I remember that being
He's 24.
him being Jack Eichel's age. And I remember going, he's
That's
the same
weird.
age as Eichel. But he's not requesting a trade out, which we'll get to. Any other deals that surprised you or amazed you?
DeMar DeRozan to the Knicks was Surprising, I thought.
Didn't he go to Chicago?
DeMar DeRozan to Chicago was surprising.
The Knicks.
Well,
Well,
what DeMar DeRozan just moving? Period.
when you said DeMar DeRozan to the Knicks, I was very surprised. So,
yeah. Chicago.
so he got an assign and trade to Chicago for Thaddeus
Yeah.
Young, some other guy, and some picks.
I mean, the other one would
Chicago is looking to sign and trade Lauri Markkinen, because if they sign him, they'll be way over the cap. So
he's also, but the other issue is they can't find a trade partner because he's asking for more money than he's actually worth.
which is absolutely fine when Duncan Robinson just got 90 million.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have the same resume as Duncan Robinson. I don't know.
I don't know.
Marketing's tough. I mean, I don't know what he's asking for. All I know is he's asking for too much money, and teams are like, "What are you doing?"
Well, they're trying to swing a 3-team trade, was my understanding. That's the last I heard.
So do you think like going forward now, it's just gonna like just start being like 3 to like 4 or 5 team trades? Like,
That's happened.
Never gonna
That's happened
see-
often. Though.
I know it has happened often, but I feel like now, like especially the past couple of years, we've seen a huge increase in using, especially in the NBA, in using multiple teams. Like I was just saying, like, do you think? Because I do, but like I think that that's just going to be like we're not going to see a 2-team trade unless it's like bottom feeders that have huge amount of cap space. Like I think consistently now these big name trades are all going to be like 3, 4, 5-team trade. Like that trade for Dinwiddie turned into a 5-team trade because they included all of the trades Washington made it on draft night,
Right.
the 2 trades, and then the Dinwiddie trade is a full 3-team trade anyway, because they needed somebody to like, or I think San Antonio, somebody sent a pick to San Antonio to take cap space and have like the contract go through them and do that.
Right.
So I think like now you're going to start seeing that.
Yeah.
But-
well, it's, I guess, as GMs are getting smarter, just when it comes to manipulating the cap. So that's happening in all sports.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that
Well,
right now.
And I think the other issue with that is I don't know how well you can regulate that. Like I don't know what rule you can put in place that would like prevent that, unless like the rule is multiple team trades can't happen. Like what do you say? Like, oh, you can't use another team as a way to get rid of cap space. Okay, but that
why would you want to do that?
Well, because you're having teams circumvent the cap and getting around.
It's not circumventing, it's following the rules.
Yeah, but I mean, but my point is you didn't have this 10 years ago.
Right.
But now it's becoming more of a more prevalent team because
Well,
like you said, GMs are getting smarter.
I will say 10 years ago that these kind of trades did happen. It was more like a 3-team trade would happen, and with one of the 3 teams would take the salary cap. There wouldn't just be a team out there who would only take on money.
Yeah.
So it seems
Everybody
like
got
that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
Is that there's a team that's like, our big win is opening up the salary cap so we can make another signing, get another whatever. So that's what I think we're seeing both in hockey.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how the Sabres are going to get to the floor.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Or they're gonna offer like some guy who's like still out there who's like 35, like
Ryan Suter.
Yeah, but not because I think he signed somewhere.
Well then.
But I don't know. I mean, NBA, the free agency period has been an interesting one because like there definitely has been a lot of movement, a lot of signing.
There always is in free agency in the NBA. That's why I love the NBA offseason.
Yeah, but I feel
the
like
first week of the draft and the start of offseason is always fun for me.
But I feel like a lot of it was surprising. Like the Heat went out and loaded up. Like
the Heat made a lot of nice moves, right? They extended Jimmy Butler,
Mhm.
Because they said you're our guy. They got Kyle Lowry,
Mhm.
so they have a very good defensive and offensive point guard.
They re-signed Oladipo.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they
I didn't see that. But Oladipo has played 4 whole games for them. So
yeah, but he's still
they
good.
kept Duncan Robinson, like we said,
Mhm.
who got the most money ever for a non-drafted player.
Yeah.
So good for him. There's still hope.
Marquise Morris went there and PJ Tucker.
Markeith Morris, right?
Markeith, yeah.
Okay. What did you think of the other moves the Bulls did, getting Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso?
I thought they were good moves for like their team moving forward, but I don't know that it helps them enough right now to really make a lot of noise
Mhm.
in their division and in just the East in general. But I think that there is a potential possibility, depending on how well depending on what they're going to do offensively. I would really like to see how that's going to work out, where the offense is going to go, what they're going to do with DeRozan, because like DeRozan isn't really that fast, isn't really that athletic anymore as he once was. He still has it for sure, but like I don't think he's definitely decreased a little bit, I would say, in those departments.
Mhm.
But and I don't know, and I think it might have been enough to maybe make a case where you could say he can't lead a team, he can't carry them, he definitely will need
No, but
help.
that's why they made other moves, right? That's why they have Levine. That's why they got Lonzo. That's that's why they traded for Vucevic
Yeah,
last year.
it'll just be interesting, I think, to see how it all mashes up and how it all comes together. But I don't think though that they're ready to make serious waves. They might be a dark horse for like a wild card, but outside of that, I don't see more. But I
Okay,
could
so
be wrong.
what do you think about this? Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, and Kent Bazemore. A great 2005 team.
Right.
I
mean, they're all going to LA
or
to get a ring.
2015 team, I guess. I don't even know what year we're in. So what? I don't know, 5 years ago. 15, 16.
15.
Yeah. Or pretty whatever. I'm not gonna harp on myself.
It's more like 2012, 13.
Well, most of these guys were all drafted in the same draft, right?
Yeah.
16 years ago.
Yeah.
So to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
a lot of people thought this was where Chris Paul was going, but he didn't. He went back to the Suns. So are the Suns better than the Lakers still?
Yeah.
Are they better than the Clippers?
Yes.
Are they the best in the West?
I mean, Golden State is there as always. I mean, you can't ever count them out because they have Curry and they're gonna get Clay coming back. But they've also been making trade rumors. They want to get rid of Wiseman, maybe make a move for Siakam, and so it'll be interesting to see how the next couple months play out. I think as it stands right now, yes, I think Phoenix is the best team in the West.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if the Lakers stay healthy,
there is nothing.
If the geriatric Lakers stay healthy.
See, the thing though about those Lakers signings is it is literally all for them to just go get rings. Like in the long run, they're out of those signings. Carmelo Anthony, Monk, Bazemore, Ellington, and Ariza maybe help them.
Hey, Dwight Howard helped them on their championship run 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that was 2 years ago in a bubble.
So he was still helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, none of these guys are going to be starters.
Well, there's nothing that jumps off the page there
none.
where you're like, oh wow, that team got significantly better.
Well, except for their outside shooting, I think.
Yeah.
But losing Caruso doesn't help with that. And I think they got more of a true point guard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Nunn is pretty good.
And Monk. Yeah. I mean, they're
Bazemore
both
can run it too, and so can Ellington, and there's always LeBron. So.
Right. So as you said, Golden State's out there, and if they get Clay back and healthy for a full season, like you said, I think they're a threat. Whether they make trades for young kids, I mean, for more assets. They just re-signed Otto Porter,
Yeah.
which was a big deal for them, I think.
Well, he's really grown into a really good role player for them there. He seemed to has found his groove for them, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And like something that he wasn't able to do in his career leading up to Golden State. And
Yeah.
he bounced around, was part of numerous trades, you know.
Yeah. How about Bobby Portis returning to the Bucks?
I think that's really good for them, especially because they lost PJ Tucker. Because if they were to lose both Portis and PJ Tucker, that would be a huge loss defensively.
But then they grabbed Semi OJ Lele.
He's a really good rebounder.
I think he's a good defensive player.
Well, he comes from Boston. So
that's what I'm saying. So I think he's a good defensive player. He reminds me a lot of
but he's not
what's
the
his
same as
face?
PJ Tucker.
Not Tucker. No, the guy Crowder. He reminds me a lot of Crowder.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's just that Bobby Portis signing for them is really huge. Like really huge.
Kemba Walker to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's the Knicks are going to be better.
So the Knicks really added Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier.
Yeah. Everyone
else who they signed, Derrick Rose, Nerlens Noel, Alex Burks, Taj Gibson are all guys they re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
The ball is still going to go through Randall, I would assume.
Yeah.
And he's still probably going to average between 25 and 30 a night.
I mean, it's still his team, but I mean, you added now a true point guard who can run the point, a really good defensive 3-point shooter to a team that's really what they needed, because you have all the big guys. You have the power forward, you have the small forward, and you have the center in Barrett, Randall, and whoever their center is. Their center is someone. I just don't know who it is. But they have the big guys. They needed that. You know, I mean, their biggest thing in the playoffs was behind
Nerlens Noel was their center.
Right. Yeah, he's not bad.
No, he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive player, and
he's tall.
He's tall and slender and rebounds and blocks and steals.
I know you scroll by the 76ers, but Drummond signing with the Sixers is hilarious because Embiid hates him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in 2018 something happened and Embiid did some tweet where he basically called him names, and so they released a video today of Drummond walking around the practice facility, and one of the people he bumps into is Embiid, and they dap up and they hug, and Embiid cringes so hard as they do the bro hug. He's like, and then they're talking, and he keeps trying to walk away and end the conversation, and Drummond's just there talking to him, and he's like, yeah, his face is completely stone cold, and he's like, please just stop talking to me. So
yeah,
that'll work out great.
Do you think that's a move predicated for them to trading Ben Simmons by getting another big? I know Drummond isn't a small forward, and neither is Embiid. But do you think that it's?
I don't think it's predicated on them trading Simmons. I think it's because when Embiid goes out,
perpetuated. I don't know.
Whatever. When Embiid goes out, there isn't anybody they're just worse. And Drummond isn't Embiid.
But I think that's why they also brought in Yang, who from Atlanta. I mean, he's a good tall guy.
I mean, Embiid's biggest thing is how many rebounds he grabs. I mean, Drummond has multiple games where he's grabbed 15 to 20 rebounds.
Yeah.
And
I don't think Embiid's biggest thing is rebounds, though. I mean, I think
Embiid's just a really good all-around player. But
yeah,
when he sits, the loss of not just his offense, but the loss of that rebounding ability, is huge. And Andre Drummond and Niang are both very, very good rebounders. So I think those moves were done with the thought that, okay, when Embiid sits, now we have the ability to get the ball. because like that is a huge issue for the 76ers is when Embiid sits, it's like they can't, like the difference in time of possession when Embiid is on the floor and not is huge. It's significant enough.
I think it's more of like the plus minus, right?
Well,
Of
yeah.
when he is. Well, I see what you're saying though with the offensive rebounds, but I think Simmons led the team in rebound. No, maybe not.
No.
But it's not like he sucks. He was the defensive player of the year, right?
Yeah, but
I think the Jazz got better by signing Rudy Gay and Hassan Whiteside, and keeping Mike Conley. The Raptors got interesting by getting Goran Dragic back in the sign and trade.
for the Raptors, yeah.
Well, they always like
No, I know.
foreign players. So they got Dragic and Gary Trent Jr. Coming back. Yeah. Trailblazers signed Norman Powell, which I think is a really good signing by them, for a team who again needs
Depth.
both depth and outside shooting. I know Powell didn't have the best.
Another one who's coming back.
He didn't have the best shooting last year. But I think he's gonna.
He averaged 18.6 points last year.
Powell?
And his,
no, I'm saying his shooting percentage.
Yeah, it was 47.7 and 41.1. Oh,
which isn't terrible.
Which are actually both higher than his career averages. But that
anyway. So anything that you want to wrap up about the NBA free agency?
No, I just said it's fun. I mean, NBA free agency is fun. So
yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's a jolly good time. I don't have anything to add beyond that.
Is NBA free agency the most fun?
I think
out of all of the free agencies.
I don't know. I think you'd be debating between the NBA and the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, baseball.
Well, I don't mean in terms of like people paying attention to it, I guess. I mean in terms of like
stars moving.
Like stars moving and being like, ooh, that's where that guy's going. Or ooh, like,
yeah.
Because I feel like in the NFL, like you don't have like you'll have like your first like 15 to 20 big names that move or resign, and then from there it's like okay. But I feel like with the NBA, it's like there is like a consistent like this is interesting that they're signing this guy. How is this guy gonna fit? Why are they making this deal? You know?
Yeah.
Because the other part of it is there are a lot of trades when the NBA free agency happens. It doesn't happen in the NFL either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's fun. And that's how we'll end it. We can move on to other
things. So the Buffalo Sabres had their draft.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that.
I thought it was a good draft. You know, they drafted a Russian, but it seemed like
5 Russians.
Yes. Well, I know, but the first Russian, the offensive, really, well, they were all, some of them, but it felt like this was the first time where they actually went for best player available at what they wanted to draft versus really like having a plan. Like, if that makes sense.
You mean targeting players based on specific need?
In like, like, wasn't Botterill the one who was like, I'll always go to Canada before I go anywhere else? Like, I'll go to the OHL and the WHL before I go anywhere else. Like, I would rather go through that pipeline.
And Murray was
USA.
Sweden.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Sweden,
Finland.
Yeah, he's like Europe. And like Kevin Adams just seems to be like, I want the best, like the one that we think is the best. And like, that's why I think he drafted 5 Russians.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think when you're the Buffalo Sabres and you have the worst reputation and it's hard maybe to get some Russians. And I bet a bunch of them are locked up maybe in the KHL or the whatever other HL they have there. But so we may not see them for a while, but
that's fine because I mean the competition they're playing against by the time they're ready to come here, it should be like a breeze.
let's hope. I mean, let's hope. Maybe they'll sign one or two and get them into the system, but I don't know. Something happened with Jack Eichel and his agents, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Was it a big deal?
Yeah. I just okay. So yeah, the letter are we gonna
Yes.
talk about the terrible
Yes.
terrible letter? Yeah. So I'm not pulling up what the letter says. You can go do that. Essentially, the letter said that the Sabres have been lying the entire time, that there has never been this level of communication that Adams has been talking about. They don't understand where Adams is coming from, blah, 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 blah. That does not help getting your client out of there. I saw something on Twitter today that was a really good take. That was, if his agents want him out of there that bad, what they should have done was make the fans turn on Eichel.
Mm-hmm. You mean turn on the Sabres?
Yeah, for keeping Eichel.
Mm-hmm.
Like making the fans force Adams to get rid of Eichel. Like that,
right.
there was so much uproar that it was like, we need to get him off the team.
Right.
Like,
but now most fans are on Adams' side and saying, hold them until you get the right deal.
It's not even that where it's like they have to agree with Eichel. It could just be, we don't like Eichel so much that you need to get rid of him. We don't want him.
No, I'm saying, but how it is now,
right,
is not that.
Is not that at all. Now,
what I'm saying is that they screwed it up.
Yeah,
the agents really screwed it up, and the letter made it worse, I think, and just made Jack look like an idiot.
I just don't understand why. Like, I don't understand why you have to make that public. Like, if it was leaked, I think that would be a different story, because then we're talking about, well, it was leaked, so obviously they're doing this. But this was like a public statement that was made available to everybody that wanted it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, this was like done with a purpose from the get-go. Like, this wasn't a quote unquote accidental leak where both sides could be like, I don't know.
Oh no, definitely. I mean,
Like,
they put it out as a let's say a post-it note. What's the word? A press release. They put it out as a press release. I mean, so clearly it is what it is. So the take is, we're all, or at least you and I, feel the same.
get the best deal possible.
Get the best deal possible.
If he's on your team when the season starts, which I still don't think he will be. I'm gonna put money down on that by the time the season starts, Jack Eichel's gone. But you go get the best deal possible, no matter at what time it is, and you take it. You do not fall into this trap, because if you do that, you are definitely not going to get the best return. And like, I don't think anybody's ever going to be happy with return, because you're trading Jack Eichel.
And you're going to lose the trade.
You're going to lose it. But I think if you're doing it right now, you're going to lose it even more if you just wait.
I don't know that I agree with that. And I don't know how long you're talking about waiting, but I think that they can hold him through the season. And if he doesn't play, or if he looks like he's not trying, it only hurts his stat. Well, it hurts the Sabres if he's screwing around, but
to a certain extent, Because if you're the Sabres, you can make the case. Well, you know this isn't the way Eichel normally is. This isn't the way he normally plays. He's just doing this because he doesn't want to be here.
But
He's
if
just
you're
going through the motions.
But if you're a team who is trying to trade with them, you say, do we want that kind of attitude?
Yeah, but you want to get that attitude because he's not going to your he doesn't care what team he goes to. He just doesn't want to be here.
So if he
that's
goes
the
to
way I
another
view it.
loser like Anaheim, you think it'll be
I think he'll try more than he would for us.
sure.
I think he'll try, and then they'll have their own problem to deal with.
Right.
But I think no matter where he goes right away, he's gonna blow up. And then if the team happens to fall on the same track, maybe they don't get as bad, but maybe the team doesn't build around him or whatever, or he goes to a team like Anaheim that still needs to rebuild, still needs to get the people in place to make a really good team again. Like, I think he'll try, but then he'll probably have problems with that team too. Because I think he just wants to win.
Well, I think that's the talk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the talk is, our team's willing to take on the risk of his attitude as well as his injury. So let's talk about his injury.
Yeah.
Should he be allowed to get the surgery he wants?
No.
Should he get the surgery the Sabres want?
I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of argument out there, right, in Sabres Twitter land about being in control of your own medical care and being able to make your own decisions, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's a lot of hogwash, just in the sense that nobody ever really gets to make all of the decisions about their care. I mean, that's what like in network, out of network doctors are, that kind of thing. It's like you're gonna pay more. If you go to two doctors, you're getting a second opinion. You're going to have to decide if they give different opinions. So, I mean, being in control completely, I don't think anyone is. I think healthcare companies kind of are, and in this case, the Sabres are in control of what he does, based upon the collective bargaining agreement, based upon the contract he signed, and if he wants to get out of his contract, he would have to work through that with the Sabres, and they're not going to let him do that without paying heavy fines. But I don't even know how that would work. I'm sure one of our hockey gurus out on Twitter would know, but I don't think the Sabres would do that in the first place. So he's
isn't him for nothing.
No,
Absolutely
no, unless he retires,
right?
Whatever. But that would just be.
Okay.
That would be shocking.
Thanks for the free 10 million in cap space.
Right. That would be shocking. So
I think it would be shocking in terms of like, holy crap, he retired, but I don't think I would be shocked. Like, oh my God, he retired?
Well, that's because he's low on the intangible index.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we talk about him all the time. He's one of the, we feel
he's
like
the entitled one.
Yeah, he's the kid who just plays to play, not.
He plays because he's good.
Yeah.
Not because he has love for the game.
Right.
That's what we've seen over and over again when it comes to Jack. He just goes through the motions. And that's what we see from a distance as fans. We're not in the locker room. We don't have inside information. We don't talk to other players, anything like that. So that's how it looks to us as fans. Gameday716. That's just who we are. So that's how it looks to us. We don't need feedback about you talk to whoever and Jack's an amazing person. I don't doubt that to some people Jack's an amazing person. I don't doubt that to some people they think he's the hardest working player in the NHL. Whatever. I don't need to hear from his dad. So anyway, so that's the Eichel spot. The when it comes to Eichel, newest revelations are that the Pagulas are pushing Adams to send him West Coast, which puts him in the category of Anaheim, Calgary,
Vegas,
Vegas,
LA.
LA, and Vancouver
Yeah.
are really, I think, the 5 or 6 teams that I mentioned there. For the West Coast. East Coast is really looking like the Rangers.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who's in it?
No, not in the East.
And apparently, I mean, Chris Drury just won't keep giving up, I guess.
Yeah, Chris Drury keeps trying to he won't give up, but he won't give what Adams is asking for, and Adams is like, well, that's what I want. And then Drury is like, well, I can come back with this, and then they're apparently not even close.
Right. So that's why I think the Rangers aren't really in it, because Drury's not acting in good faith, which would shock me with how Drury is acting with the Sabres, not in good faith.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, everyone blames Regier for losing Drury, but to me, that was on Drury. That was a bad read by Regier, but that's topic for a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of those teams, what do we say? Anaheim,
Mhm.
Los Angeles,
Mhm.
Vegas,
Mhm.
Calgary, Vancouver. Did we miss anyone?
Minnesota.
I don't think Minnesota's in it. I think they've already made their moves. I'm kind of even hesitant on the Kings.
I'm hesitant on Vancouver. I mean, they're just out in the West and need, but well, Besser.
Yeah.
They have the pieces there. I don't know if they're actually in it, but
Yeah.
I think your teams out west it has to be between Vegas,
Anaheim,
Calgary.
Yeah. Do you think it comes down to those 3?
I think, okay, here's the thing I'll say about Calgary. I think there's a really big chance that Calgary is going to be the team because we consistently hear about Anaheim, we consistently hear about Vegas, we consistently hear about LA, and we consistently hear about the Rangers. But it's every single time when Friedman or Dreger are trying to give the full picture, they're like, Calgary is just sitting here though, on the edge, just kind of seeing what everybody else is doing, making some offers, talking with Adams every day, but not really doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance Calgary just comes in at the 11th hour, but maybe before training camp, and is
let's do this.
Yeah. Let's get this done tonight. Let's go.
So here's the question. Do they need to include Kachuk?
Yes.
You think so?
Or
they're not going to do it then?
Okay, then you need to give me Gaudreau and Monahan, or Monahan and somebody.
Monahan has very little value, and he also has a 10-team no trade clause.
Okay.
So depending on whether the Sabres are in there or not,
Yeah.
I mean, one would assume they are.
Yeah. I mean, here's the reason why. I mean, not just
he may waive his no trade clause,
yeah,
but
that's true. You could convince him,
Right. I mean, go be the number 1 center in Buffalo. A change of scenery, I think, would be good for him.
I mean, I guess you don't have to give up to Chuck, but I would like it to not be
the
bad.
I was talking with a Calgary fan, and they came up with a pretty solid offer of what I thought was fairly close to what I think they could get back. And that was Valimaki.
Okay. The defenseman, right?
I think he's a defenseman. Yeah. But he's a prospect defenseman.
Yeah.
High prospect. Dylan Dubé. Center. Right.
Yeah.
A first round pick.
Yeah.
Either this year or next year.
No conditions.
No conditions.
No conditions.
I would like a 2023 pick with no conditions.
Yeah. And I think you can get that out of Calgary because Calgary thinks that they're better than they are every year. They always think it's their year. They're the Dallas Cowboys.
And there was one more player. And I don't remember who it was.
I mean, just throw a good draw in there for old time's sake.
It wasn't Goudreau. It was no, I'm not gonna remember that. I'm just
Well, while you're reading, I think I'll add this. The other reason I think it could also be Calgary is we know what New York is offering, that they aren't close, that New York's just trying to undersell it, trying to see if they can get Adams into some crappy deal. And Adams is holding strong. And we know what they offered to Vegas. The first Karebs. First Karebs.
we know what Vegas offered, you mean?
Yeah, what they offered. That was the Sabres offer to Vegas.
Which okay, so that it was a first round pick.
It was a first round pick, Karebs, another so-so prospect, and Riley
Krebs
Smith.
isn't a so-so prospect.
No, I'm saying there was an additional prospect who is so-so
Okay.
with Karebs. I know Karebs is very good. It was a first Karebs, another prospect who's like, and then Riley Smith for the cap.
That was the Sabres offer?
Yeah.
You're sure of that? Sure. So the thing about Calgary and Gaudreau is that he has 1 year left on his contract and he's a UFA when he's done.
Oh no, it was the Golden Knights offer. I thought it was the Sabres offer.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes me feel better.
Yeah, the Golden Knights offer included Riley Smith, Peyton Karebs. Yeah, it was defenseman Nicholas Hague, who's like a first.
He's a solid prospect, I think.
Buffalo politely declined it. It may have had something to do with the fact Vegas wanted Buffalo to retain as much salary as possible on the trade.
Okay, so maybe they can come to an agreement
with a third team,
with not taking as much salary,
or with a third team who takes on a salary.
I don't think they'll need to do that though.
No. I mean, because I don't.
If
I
the
don't
Sabres
think,
take on salary,
I don't think Adams.
I mean, they're gonna have trouble getting to the floor.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I don't.
I mean, they're gonna re-sign Darlene,
Mhm.
right? But his salary this season is still the rookie minimum,
right,
or rookie max, or whatever.
The 975.
75. Yeah. And then after that, they don't have. I mean, they have Acoso and Skinner, and that kind of thing.
Well, they're not even close to the floor now. So
exactly.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Still 15 million or 12 million or something.
Oh, it's more than that.
Like away from the floor.
I think it's more than that even. Which
it probably is because I mean they haven't made a huge signing.
So, and if you get rid of Eichel, that's another 10 million you need to add. So that to me is where maybe Monahan comes in.
I mean, I think if you're the Sabres, you want to go to a team that has good players with high cap hits, because then that would just make the trade really easy. And that would help you.
You just need one guy with a high cap hit, though. Like, what if they took on Milan Lucic's contract?
Like more. Like, to continue what I was saying.
I'm not saying trade him for Lucic. I'm saying
no. I'm saying like if you're going to add Lucic to the deal that we already talked about, then you're going to have to give me more. In my opinion, because I'm helping you.
Not Dylan Dubé, Connor Zary.
Okay.
So, so here are some of the offers that were out there. So Monahan, if he'll waive his no trade, Monahan, Zary, Valimaki, and a 2022 first round pick, which seems fairly solid. That's right in there, right?
You're getting a solid NHL player, 2 prospects, and your first.
If Monahan won't waive his no trade, Dylan Dubé, Connor Zary, Juuso Valimaki, and a 2022 first round pick and second.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
I mean, that seems
if you're gonna give me less.
pretty good to me.
Yeah.
And the Flames are pushing that age.
They're that's a good point. They are starting to get to that point where it's kind of like Chicago, where it's like, are these guys going to keep winning, or are we going to have to do something else? And then they went, well, they're going to keep winning, and then it completely failed. So
With the Flames, you mean?
no, with Chicago.
Oh, but now they've made a lot of moves.
Well, now they made a lot of moves, but I'm saying like
Okay.
when they made the decision, like to say, oh, we are going to stick with the old core. We're not going to blow it up yet. And
Right.
then they blew it. The same thing happened in LA. They blew it up too late. In Calgary,
well,
right now.
LA hasn't blown it up.
Oh, well, yeah, true. But Calgary right now, to me, you're right, is at that tipping point with like that, where it's like, are they going to go towards the way where it's like, well, we threw all these money into our old guys and we're hoping they still win, and we're not going to rebuild our pipeline really that much because we have these guys who we think are NHL superstars, or are we going to consistently get better by making a deal like this for a guy who is going to be good?
Are we going
for
to
the rest
reach
of his
for the
contract?
sky?
Right.
Is really the question.
Yeah.
Are we going
Well,
to work with our guys and let Dubé, Velimaki, and Zeri come up through the system?
Yeah.
Or are we going to use them to bring in guys?
And the other part of that is they would have to stick with like they'd have to stick with like Monahan. They would have to stick with Gaudreau. They'd have to stick with the other guys that are there. Yeah. Well, the Kachuk is he's really, really good.
Right.
So like,
I mean, Gaudreau can score with any of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
And if you have Gaudreau, playing next to Eichel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We wanted that here for how long?
The two Boston kids going.
Yeah, we wanted Gaudreau. Gaudreau was in so many trade rumors to Buffalo. I feel like all the time. I feel like we always wanted that for so long.
I never wanted Gaudreau, but that's just me. I think. My gut is telling me that if I know he's out for 6 months, but if Vegas switched Riley Smith to Alex Tuck,
that deal would be a lot better. People were talking about it on Twitter. I don't think it matters that he's out for 6 months. That to me, like, that should not stop you because he got the surgery already. You know what the injury is and you know what the length of time is. This isn't a Jack Eichel situation, or this isn't a situation where you're walking into having to make a decision for the player and having to make a health decision for a player that you just got in trade, that you're trying to be like our team, don't be mean, like help us, let's build something. Right. Like, let's help us clean. Let's build something. Let's build a team.
You were rhyming. So I was
like
our team, don't be mean, help us clean.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, so
I'm a poet and I just don't know it.
Don't know it. Yeah.
I agree with that. I still think though the offer is still low a little bit.
Krebs, to me, Krebs is the second best prospect being talked about behind Zegras.
Yeah. Well, yeah, getting Krebs is huge. I think if they switched out Heg for, like, it's just Heg, like, the stuff I saw about Heg, where it's like he is like such an up and down guy. Like, he doesn't really have that like solid of like a shot, I guess. Like, he's not like that good at like shooting. Period.
So he's a defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
So he'll be your back pair. He'll be in your back pair.
I'm just, if maybe switch out Heg with somebody else, or maybe do they have any good goalie prospects?
I have no idea.
Or do they have a good goalie there? No, Fleury's gone.
Leonard,
get him back.
He's not coming back here.
I know.
I think he has a no trade anyway.
I don't know. The other part of it is, and the other reason why I want to say, if I'm correct, let me look at their roster first, though. Who am I thinking of? See, because the other thing now is, I think,
they have a goalie, they have everything in place.
Yeah.
They just need a guy who elevates them higher than Monahan does.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I was saying in the return for the Sabres.
Uh-huh.
I feel like they should use the Eichel trade as an opportunity to get another guy. Like, he doesn't have to be that good. Like, honestly, I don't care if the goalies are that good. Go get like a guy like, honestly, go get a guy like Markstrom and just have him play with UPL and just have that be your goalie pairing. Honestly,
Well,
like if it sucks, it sucks because this team isn't going to be good.
no,
That's
they're going to be
not-
bad.
That's not the point.
They're going to be probably in the bottom 3 again.
Yeah, which is why like you should like if you're going to Calgary, like Markstrom or like Vladar.
They just signed him.
Okay, maybe not. Well, maybe they'll flip him. I don't know. But like,
no, that only happens in video games.
well, then Markstrom. I mean, you know,
why would they get rid of Markstrom? I mean, if you're bringing in Eichel, you're saying we signed Markstrom last year for this.
Yeah. I just think that they should try to use the Eichel trade as an opportunity to get just a goalie. Just get somebody.
Well, isn't that what they did with Sam?
Yeah, but that guy's still a prospect, isn't he? He's going to Northwestern.
Yeah.
So it's not like he can start. You still need a guy who can start. They don't have.
Well, it seems like UPL right now is their planned starter.
Well,
And
yeah,
he's
but I'm
gonna
saying
rotate
I don't
with
think they
what's his
have.
face.
They don't have another goalie though behind UPL. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they have Anderson, right?
Anderson and Dell.
Right. In UPL. Anderson, Dell, and UPL.
Yeah, it does sound like a
Something. Yeah. So that's I don't know.
I mean, Anderson is here to teach UPL, so I can assume like he's gonna get like 3 starts, maybe. Like
Maybe, but I mean, UPL is not going to play 80 games.
that's the thing. I
Is who he's going to rotate with, like 1B.
That's why I think you need to go get another guy. Is like I don't think their plan. I think their plan is just honestly to pay Anderson to be a goalie coach.
They have a goalie
that's
coach.
what they're doing. I know.
I don't think he's there to be a coach as much as a mentor.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, right.
And
but
that's
I don't
a different.
think
That's a different kind of thing.
Well, I mean, he came out of retirement for this.
Okay.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm with you. He's there to be a mentor, but I don't think he's here to play. So that's the problem. Because I agree with you. UPL shouldn't be playing 40 games, but are you really going to put it on the back of Aaron Dell?
He shouldn't be playing 70 even.
He should be playing like
he should be playing 40 to me. 40, 45, 50 in that range.
Right now?
This season.
Oh, I thought you said he shouldn't be.
No, I said he should be playing around half of the games.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And maybe 50.
Yeah.
You know, a 50-30 split.
I thought you said he shouldn't be.
No,
So
I think he should be playing 40. I don't think, and then I corrected myself. I said, I don't think he should be playing like 80 or 70.
He shouldn't be the guy in Tampa Bay, you know? That's not what this is. He still's going to need to rotate with somebody, Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to play every single game except, like, the one, you know, that he doesn't. Like, but I don't think Anderson is really going to see any time. But then your other option is Dell, who signed
a 2-way contract.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's the same thing with Markstrom, is you can make the same mistake as who cares, or the same argument is who cares. Let UPL play the 40 games, get the experience, and then swap him out when he gets tired with whoever.
Right.
So like, I guess you really don't need to make a trade for a goalie because you can just, because
you can go sign Ben Bishop if you want to.
Well, if you're Kevin Adams though, and the media or whatever are like, well, what is your plan at goalie?
Mm-hmm.
You can just make the case. Like, he's obviously not going to say the team is going to suck this year, but like everybody knows they're going to be bad, but they're not going to be the normal bad. They're going to be the fun type of bad, or they should be at least, where it's like everybody's fast. Maybe there's a lot of goals that get scored a bunch of nights. Like, you know, we're seeing guys like Cousins do crazy things, Middlestat, you know, we're seeing really this improvement, but maybe the wins aren't there yet.
Mhm.
So I think if you're Kevin Adams, you can make the case and you're saying, like, I'm trying to build this team. UPL is the guy in the future. Does it really matter right now who I swap him out with? Because like whoever you swap him out with doesn't have to be good because you're not gonna win. And you're not gonna win with
That's what
UPL
I'm saying.
either.
Yeah, I don't
Like
think
it
so
shouldn't
either.
matter.
I mean, UPL hasn't shown that he's good since he's gotten the hip replacement.
Yeah.
I mean, he had what, like an 890 save percentage
Yeah.
in Rochester last year.
Yeah. I think that's just gonna come with like
I mean, I think in the end, I've been saying this for a while, so you probably know where I'm going. But I think in the end, Portillo's the guy.
yeah. Yeah, that's what you have been saying.
I mean, but that's just that's just how I see it. Portillo.
Yeah, I mean, as he finished
He's
last year with
Portillo's a sophomore at Michigan. They can sign him. They can bring him in. Let him come up the right way.
Yeah.
Hopefully stay uninjured, and then he can play with Owen Power.
he also doesn't pull
He's also
Cal
6'6",
Peterson.
I think.
Yeah, he is.
So,
But yeah, I mean, UPL last year in 4 games had a 3.88 goals against and a 906 save. So like, yeah, that's not great. But I think like you're also not expecting him to be great. Like, okay, maybe there is an issue there with the hip surgery, but that could also be he needs
more time.
more time. He needed more rehab. Maybe he needs to go through like a real full, complete off season
Mhm.
that isn't marred by COVID a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that'll give him the chance. I mean, I don't think we can write off UPL right now.
I'm not
obviously.
writing him off. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying for you, I think we should just wait. I think to be like, oh, he's not the same from the hip surgery until we get into the season. Cause I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of him no matter what. So, but I mean, if like I was saying, if you're Kevin Adams and you're getting pressed about the goaltender situation, I mean, just
Maybe
not gonna
they're
do it.
working on Devin Dubnyk or something,
maybe
or Bernie.
or what's his draft?
They're not working on Rask. Rask said that he's only playing for Boston or nobody. So, which I think is lame. But because he is UPL's hero, so if anyone's gonna mentor him, he would be good.
They could also get a goalie back in the Eichel trade whenever that happens as well.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, they're not talking. I mean, New York is really the only team, I think.
And they could get Georgia
Anaheim,
back.
in Anaheim. With what's his face?
Who? Gibson?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be included if they include Zagoras.
Oh, I know. I mean, that would change the trade.
I think Sabres Twitter would freak out if they traded for an $8 million goalie. I mean, I would love it. I mean, to me, it's not the worst idea. And to me, someone pointed that out. John, yeah.
That's why I didn't remember.
Josh Gibson was a baseball Hall of Fame Negro Leagues.
I mean, his contract, he has 5 years left at 6.4 million. But he does have his no trade kicks in this year.
Okay. That kicks in this year?
Yeah, it's a modified, it's a 10 team. But yeah, it's kicks in this year, 21-22. So that would be
the other wild card in the East is allegedly Montreal.
I don't think it's gonna be them.
I think if you make a trade with Montreal, you need either Suzuki or Caulfield back.
You're also asking for a lot more than what you got for Florida because you're also moving him
of course.
In division.
Right. So you're gonna ask for Kotkaniemi, I think Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
If they have an upcoming goalie, whoever, I don't know. I can look at Montreal.
Let's see. Only have Jake Allen. who has been linked to the Sabres. In trade
Um,
rumors. Caden Primo.
Okay. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Suzuki. They're not going to get Caulfield, so
I think Suzuki has the potential to be uh uh better than Caulfield in all around play. And I think he has the potential to like win defensive player of the year and that kind of thing.
here's what they should do. Should be like Suzuki, the
Kotakami.
then they should throw in like Jeff Petrie.
Just throw in Jeff Petrie.
Yeah. And then like
How old is he? He's 34.
well, they also need money. That would be the other reason.
I'm sure they have bad contracts. The Sabres right now have 28 million in cap space.
That doesn't seem like fair. I don't know. Like
The
the Canadians have 0
cap space,
Yeah. Their projected cap space
which is
0.
why they couldn't bring back Deneau.
Right. True, and he's a modified trade.
I wouldn't want Druin anyway.
I don't want Anderson.
Often they just signed. Toffoli would be fine.
Yeah,
I like Lekanen.
I do too. Yeah, Suzuki, Kotkaniemi, Link.
I think Cody Kiemi and Suzuki would be my guys. I don't think they're going to get.
Those are your prospects.
I don't think they're going to get rid of Caulfield.
No.
Um,
I mean, I don't think they're going to get rid of Caulfield because strictly of just what he did in the playoffs. Like
right.
the amount of eyes that were on Montreal.
Oh, and
the-
Romanov is the other one that I was hearing would be included.
I was wondering. I knew they had some young defensemen.
Yeah, Alexander Romanov, right? So they would be getting all Russian now. I assume he's Russian. His last name's Romanov. Anyway, so
Yes.
the other
I was from Moscow.
wow. Am I supposed to be impressed by that or something?
No, I'm just surprised it was like actually just like the capital.
Okay.
I don't know. That like stuff like surprising me that it's not like, vodka town, Russia, like it's Moscow. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm weird. Anyway,
You are weird. Is there more we want to beat down on this, or
I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
Do you?
I don't think I do either. I mean, how about this? What was it? Who do you think he's gonna go to? Let's end it with that. Where we think he's gonna go.
I think it's going to be Calgary or Anaheim.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's just because it's like those are the two places where it does make sense. Like when you look
And
at
then
the
it seems
roster,
like
you
the
look at
teams
what they
are
have,
still interested.
right? And those teams are still right on top of that. But like you also look at like what those teams have, what they can give up. It's like it's exactly what Adams wants.
Right. It's 4 number ones.
Right. He wants 2 prospects that are close and
A player,
a real NHL player, and then like a
first round
pick.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. It just has to be,
I want
Fair.
a 2023 pick more than I want a 2022 pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see Adams, though, do a lot of deals probably in the next year for that draft as well as he did for this one, because they have a lot of draft picks again.
This year.
Yeah.
I like that though.
Oh, I'm not saying
This is a very
at all.
deep draft. And then the next draft has those 2
has the Eichel and McDavid.
The
Right,
McDavid, Eichel, yeah.
they have 2 first-round picks in 2022, 1 second,
Wow.
1 third, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 1 sixth, 1 seventh.
But that's
So,
the Florida pick, right?
yeah, it's a conditional
So if Florida finishes in the top
10.
10,
Yeah.
right, then
Goes
it
to-
moves to 2023.
Yeah, which is gonna happen. So
Or bottom 10, Florida would have to finish.
yeah, it's
the
lottery,
lottery.
top 10 protected or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could happen.
It could.
You never know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I
I
just
thought
think
they had more picks than they did, but I guess not. They only have 1 pick, 1 extra pick this year and 1 extra pick next year. So, but I think that's going to change. I mean, I don't think that he spends this last draft, hammering it home that they were like, we scouted everybody, we did it. Look, like we have these scouting reports, to then be like in the future, just be like, I'm fine with my 7 draft picks. Like,
no, I agree. I agree. And like we said, these 2 upcoming drafts are
once again loaded.
well, this upcoming one is loaded, maybe top 5. They're
Yeah.
saying, leading with Shane Wright,
Mhm.
who's supposed to be really good.
Imagine if they got Shane Wright and then they also got,
The kid after it,
yeah, like one of those 2 kids, the Russian or the other one.
the want to know y'all or whatever.
Yeah.
I should remember his name.
It's okay.
Like Bodin or something.
Connor Bernard.
Yeah, see Bodin.
But yeah, that's Bernard.
Bodin.
Bedard.
Yeah,
Bedardador.
yeah.
Bedardador. And then Mitchikov.
Right.
I'm probably not saying that name right. Mitchkov. It's probably just Mitchkov.
It's probably Michkov. Yeah.
Michkov. Yeah, that's the other guy.
Michkov. But
Michkov and
Michkov you won't see because
won't see.
he has a 2-year commitment to the KHL
Yeah.
after his draft, after he's drafted. It's annoying in some ways.
To a certain extent.
But in other ways, if you think about it, what you'd be getting is more term as an RFA
Mhm.
as he's older.
That's true. As like he's coming into like
Right.
his own.
Right.
Right. You would be getting him in an RFA when he's like 26, 27, when like
No, not that old, but just because he'll be drafted at 18.
oh yeah, that's true.
So
That's true because now the NHL is like going farther back in age. I feel like they're just keep moving. Like I don't know. Like I feel like you didn't used to see like a lot of like 18-year-olds drafted. Like I don't remember. Like I remember like when an 18-year-old drafted, you would be like, oh, not going to see him for 5 years. Like,
but it's that way when they're 20 as well.
well, that's what I'm saying. But that's why I said like, oh, you would be getting him an RFA when he's like 26 or 27 because I'm thinking, oh, well, you're drafting him at like 20, 21. He has to spend 2 years, so he's probably not here until he's 22, 23.
Well,
then
you
you
would
have-
be holding his RFA rights till he's 26 or 27.
Yeah.
Because of his KHL stint. So
Yeah.
Um,
Which at bare minimum is 2.
it's 2 years or 3 years. I don't remember what the setup is there.
Yeah, he's 16 right now. So this is the 2023 draft. So yeah, he'll be 18 when
He'll
he's
be
drafted.
18. Yeah.
But still, that's still like 24, 25, like in that area, which is still super significant to have RFA rights
Mhm.
of a player at that age.
Well, I mean, the Sabres had him for Sam, and he's 25, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, to keep a player like during those years, I don't think is that common anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing, a lot of guys
Sam get traded.
right. Well, not even just that, but you're seeing a lot of guys do other stuff, like, or be ready for free agency by that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Calgary and Anaheim, we'll see.
With
We'll see.
Vegas as a dark horse.
Vegas is always a dark horse because you have no idea.
So I'm looking at my computer. You're looking at your phone.
I was texting my
Um,
wife.
that's great. Um, one topic left.
One topic. Yes. What are we gonna end on?
Training camp.
Oh yeah, right. Duh.
So Buffalo Bills training camp has started. We're going Saturday, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Blue and white and red and purple and gold scrimmage.
In gold.
No, it's like the blue and red, I think.
Oh, okay.
But they're actually blue and white because the QBs are red. So
Right.
they can't just
Gotcha.
they can't mess up the trend of putting the QB in red. But they can't change the name of the scrimmage from blue and red to just blue and white.
Okay. So enough of that. Bills training camp is going. I counted today, they're 12 receivers deep. And Duke Williams is probably last or second last out of those 12.
Yeah, he's not making the roster.
No.
No.
He's tied with Tanner Gentry for last or second last. For 11 or 12.
Yeah, he's a camp body.
He's a camp body. He's not even got to
He's not
make
even
the
gonna
practice
make the
squad.
No, they don't have the room for him.
Right. So
Fans were back though. They filled 15,000
15,000.
every time.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. Not really.
We're
though.
still going if we have to wear masks, right?
Yeah.
Because all you fans expect to wear masks when it comes football season time
Can't wait.
in the fall.
Feel that I got vaccinated.
Doesn't matter. That you got vaccinated.
No, you're right. It doesn't. And I'm glad that
Thanks, Cole.
That there are other people out there who made it so me going out of my way to get vaccinated doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Hold on.
To a certain extent.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I want to make sure that I do know what you're saying, because obviously you're getting vaccinated so you don't get sick, so you don't get
right.
more
There are
sick.
obvious reasons why I'm getting
And
vaccinated.
for those
I'm
around
just saying it was get vaccinated. We shouldn't have to wear masks. Blah 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 blah. And now it's like that doesn't matter. That's all I was saying.
Anyway, that's enough of our vaccination speech, because we destroy vaccination talk into the ground. So we're not going to do that. So the Bills wide receivers are very, very deep.
Mhm.
Tight ends, not so much.
Yeah.
Do you think Dawson Knox is the guy?
I think Dawson Knox has to be the guy.
Well, they can make some move before.
Well, I mean, yes, as of right now, as it stands.
Well,
Dawson Knox does
that
have to
wasn't
be
my
the guy.
question.
I mean, he's not. No, but I don't see them making a move anymore. I mean, even with that $9 million they have sitting in cap space for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't see them. I feel like if Ertz was coming here, I feel like that would have happened already. Like I don't know.
Oh, Philly's already said he's playing in Philly next year.
Yeah. So I don't think he is the guy, because I would not be surprised if next year one of their big things, if Knox doesn't come through again, is definitely going to be tight end, because they're already starting to talk about it this year.
Right.
So, but I mean, hopefully Knox can. I mean, I don't think we're giving him enough time, but I also don't think we have the ability to give him enough time.
This is the evaluation year.
Yeah.
I guess, unless they panic and go out and get someone.
Which isn't what they do. So I don't see
they don't panic.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
I don't know.
But they also don't let positions go bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know with it like being. I think maybe as of right now, I don't see them making a move, but maybe cut day trade or something that they make with a team that's like, I can't make a decision between these two players kind of
Mhm.
thing. Like maybe they'll get lucky and be like, we'll take your tight end or something.
Yeah.
But I just don't see them making a move right now. But I don't think Knox is the guy on move. But yes, this year is his prove it year, as you said.
Is Isaiah McKenzie a lock for the team?
No, absolutely not. There's too many players who are at his position that there's just too many players who are at his position. I mean, he's not a lock to make the team. We have to see what he does in the preseason. He has to. I don't care what they're saying right now in training camp. I don't care that Brian Dable's singing the praises. If he sucks in the preseason, he's not going to be here. No matter if they want to call him the face of the franchise or not, they're going to make the best move for their team. And if that's not with Isaiah McKenzie, but it is with Marquez Stevenson, that's the move they're going to make. I mean, you just said it. They don't let positions go bad. As much as they say they're going to love McKenzie, there's no reason they're going to hang on to him if they don't need to. But if they're like, wow, he returned 3 kicks, in
So we
every
don't
single
need
game,
Stevenson.
right? We don't need Stevenson. We can put him on the practice squad, then yeah. But he has to show out in the preseason. He has to show out. He has to show that he belongs here.
Does he? Who's he battling against? Is Kumaro?
Kumaro, yeah, Stevenson, Hodgins. I
I think that's your group.
think there's one more, maybe.
I mean, I think that's your group of who he's battling with.
Yeah. It's those 3 guys, and each one of those guys have their own case for why they should be on the roster.
I think Kumaro is going to make it.
I think Kumaro is going to make it too because he's been
Talked about too much.
Yeah, and he's also been everywhere in their social media and talked about on Bill's social media too. So I think Kumaro makes it, but I think he's battling with those guys. So there's one more guy, there's one more spot gone. I mean, he's literally battling for that last spot. I mean,
Well, it depends on whether they're going to keep 7 receivers or not. Do you see them keeping 7?
yes, I do, because of what happened with John Brown last year and what ended up happening with Beasley near the end.
So, okay, you have 4 locks, right?
Right.
We know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Diggs,
Cole,
Sanders, Davis.
and Davis.
Yeah.
Right.
So that means you have 2 to 3 spots left.
Right.
For
Kumaro, Hodgins, McKenzie, Stevenson.
Yeah.
And again, I think those are the guys they're battling with. I don't think Tanner Gentry is. I don't think Powell.
Powell though,
he's a kick returner.
He's a kick returner. So honestly, that might be another guy he's battling with because that 7 roster spot might be for the kick returner guy because they might say, well, we don't want to risk Matt Breida because we think he's too much of a weapon.
They're not using him to return kicks. I'll say that now. They're just not using Breida to return kicks. So,
but I mean, if
they're either going to use McKenzie, Stevenson, or Powell.
Yeah,
that's to me that's flat out.
Yeah.
So
he's battling with 3 other receivers to just make the roster, and then he's battling with 2 other guys for the returner spot too. That's a lot of competition for him, and that is competition for him as much. And as I keep saying, as much as they want to be like, oh my God, we love Isaiah McKenzie. Cool, they did the same thing with LaShawn McCoy. Like, he has to show that he belongs. Period. He has to show that he deserves that spot, and he has to fight for it. And he can't just fall back and be like, I'm Isaiah McKenzie. Look at what I've done. Like, cool. You did that stuff last year. You did that stuff 2 years ago.
Right.
Now you have to show what you can bring to the team this year.
No, I agree with that. You can't just say,
look at all the gadget things
I'm
did.
I'm a gadget player, because you can make any player a gadget player.
Cole Beasley's a gadget player. I mean,
you can make him a gadget player. I don't see him as a gadget player, but
one of his skills. But I'm saying players have that in their toolbox. Like
Right.
that's not something to be like, this is the reason why I should make the team. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Like to
That's
me,
fair.
unless like unless you are that good and your whole wide receiver thing is you are the gadget, but like that's not what McKenzie is.
No. So we've got Greg Rousseau, Efe Obata, AJ Epinesa, and Boogie Basham all making noise.
Yeah, especially Basham.
And Obata.
Yeah, they keep saying that Basham is like getting interceptions, and they
Knocking
say like
stuff
his
down
spin
and-
move
yeah.
is like deadly. They said that he got both tackles like back to back one time, and that Spencer Brown, I think yesterday, I think it was the first time they put on pads. He had a really tough day with Basham. They said, and that Basham beat him twice using that spin move. I think Basham might make more noise in the beginning than Rousseau.
Well, he's more polished.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's very evident.
He's 23 and Rousseau is 21.
Yeah.
So, we have to take that into consideration. And
right.
Rousseau played at Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Basham played at Wake Forest. Again, another kind of
difference
in how you approach the game, even. Right?
Yeah.
So, but again, Obata has also been making noise. So that's 4.
Right.
Hughes and Addison. They saved $7 million by cutting Hughes.
Yeah. And Addison,
I don't think Hughes gets cut, but
was asked. Well, Addison was asked the question. There's along the lines of there's a lot of guys. What you gonna do? And he was already going I'm the veteran. I'm here to pump up the rookies. Blah blah blah. I'm here to help. I'm here to do this.
Okay, so here's the question: do they keep 6 defensive ends?
But I think they might have to.
Because
I don't think you can put like Rousseau or like Basham or Epinesa on the practice squad because I think a team will just take them.
No, absolutely.
So there's 3 spots right there.
Right. So that gets rid of Daryl Johnson, basically.
Probably.
Who's another big special team shot guy who you lose.
Yeah.
But maybe you can get him on the practice squad.
I think that you can.
So we've got Harrison Phillips, Ed Oliver, Justin Zimmer, and Star Lotulelei, and Vernon Butler. That's 5 defensive tackles.
Yeah.
You keep all 5?
No.
Who's not making it?
Whoever there's going to be, I would bet you they're going to keep 3 defensive tackles. So I bare minimum you're
Phillips, Oliver, and Lotulelei.
Yeah. I mean, as it stands right now, without seeing anything, that would be my guys that I would keep on that group.
Even with them just re-signing Vernon Butler, right? Didn't they just re-sign him?
Well, they made him restructure so they could do stuff. But like, okay, I don't know. That kind of stuff shouldn't really be taken into account when you're trying to make like Super Bowl winning roster. I know that was cheesy, but
So if you're doing that, if you're keeping 3 or 4 defensive tackles and 6 defensive ends, you're rotating like crazy for one thing.
Well, that's what McDermott loves to do.
It is, but and now we're saying you're keeping at least 6 wide receivers, possibly 7. Where do you cut back?
I think at halfback.
What? How many? They're going to have 4 halfbacks.
Singletary, Breida, Moss,
and Taiwan Jones.
That's the issue with special teams. Is there's a very large possibility here that they're gonna have to lose out on some big special teams guys.
Well, that's what we just talked about. Daryl Johnson being odd man out, but he's a huge special teams contributor.
Yeah.
At 6'6", 290, the dude can run like.
Maybe they only keep two QBs. They have to. Maybe they're only keeping 2 QBs. You know,
We have to keep a COVID one.
yeah, but you can do what you did last year with Fromm. Just stash him away in a safe house. Like,
That's assuming that the NFL goes with their COVID quarterback.
they are going with the same practice squad rules.
They are?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and then they'll revisit them after this year.
Okay.
But the NFL and the NFLPA agreed on the same rules because I looked that up and saw that.
Okay.
So that's
so
good.
To me,
But I mean, you're gonna have to.
that kills your offensive line.
Yeah, that kills your DB depth too.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to cut back at you're gonna have to cut back at defensive back, maybe safety.
The issue is you are either cutting somebody who is really, really good, or you're gonna have like 5 cornerbacks and 1 extra free safety and 1 extra strong safety.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
And you're gonna have to gamble for most of the year that these guys aren't gonna really get hurt. And like we have seen with Hyde and with Poyer, that they don't really get those long-term injuries. But you know, Trey has had a little, right? Yeah. Trey's had injury history. Teron Johnson.
Minor.
Yeah.
Minor with Teron.
But still, so you're banking on those guys. And I think you can bank on them. And I think that's where you're going to have to cut back. So I think your most competitive, those are probably going to be some very competitive battles. And probably, honestly, at linebacker, too, you're going to have to cut back. I don't know how many they have. I thought they had a decent amount.
I think they have,
They had like 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. Yeah. So,
and don't forget about Reed Ferguson, who they got to keep.
Yeah.
And Matt Kevich.
Another special teams guy.
Right.
Are you keeping him around just for the special teams? But then again, and that's the big issue about doing this right now is like maybe Matt Kevich shows out in the preseason and shows that
Matt Kevich played competently last year.
That's true.
At certain when he was called upon.
Yeah.
I think
he was good enough.
He was competent, you know, maybe just slightly below replacement player level. But you know, we know that they're high on Dodson.
Yeah.
We know that they're high on Andre Smith as well.
Yeah. But this goes back to McKenzie. They can say all they want, but the Bills have a very analytical approach to building this team. And we've seen that from the beginning, that they are very process oriented, very focused on getting the final product right. So they can talk about Andre Smith, they can talk about Dodson as much as they want, but if they do not show that they belong to have a spot on this roster, they will not be here. And I think that goes for anybody that is not Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs.
Well, okay, so for these linebackers, right? Dodson, Adams, or the other guy. Roll up. Andre Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have to show out in special teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
we know Matt Kevich is. Yeah. I mean, we know Matt Kevich is a special teams weapon. Right. So you have Matt Kevich, you have Reed Ferguson, you have Tywan Jones.
Yep.
Taking up 3 roster spots.
Yeah, so now you're down to 50 players.
Right. And then we have 7 receivers.
Right. This is
good luck. 10
10
defensive linemen. So now you're down to 33.
Yeah. It's the preseason is going to be, I really think is going to be huge. This is probably going to be I bet these preseason games are probably going to be the most competitive for the Bills we've seen in a really long time.
Which is great.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But you're going to see a lot of these guys are guys who need to show that they belong.
Well, I think the neat thing in the end is it's going to be hard because they're going to lose talented players.
which is awesome.
Right, which means good, which means good things in the end.
Right. As always.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think that is probably the best part. So that's our training camp talk.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm good too.
Okay.
Let's wrap up our show with a healthy bout of sea shanties.
What's your chip?
And so that was show 30 of Game Day 716, season 1. We appreciate everyone's support and watching and all of that stuff. And we'll talk to you next time.
Full group next week.
Full group.
Full
Yes.
group. As always, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and all 4 of our shining faces will be here next time, and we'll see you then.